Is my criminal defense attorney doing their job? In this video, I'm going to be giving you inside information, because I am a criminal defense attorney, on what you should be looking for when you're trying to figure that out. My name is Veronica. I'm a criminal defense attorney here in California, and I help people put their cases behind them so that they can enjoy their lives and their freedom. Now, when you have a criminal case, it can be hard to figure out who to trust. A lot of attorneys are kind of abrasive. Sometimes you have a public defender and you might have a different person every time, and you might be trying to figure out, like, should I go and hire a different attorney? I mean, I can't tell if things are looking good. I have a lot on the line here. Should I find someone else, or is this how things are supposed to be? And I actually get a lot of people calling me who do have attorneys, and they're trying to figure out if they should hire someone else. There are 5 questions that I typically ask them about, hey, has your attorney done this yet? To try to figure out if there is room for more to be done in the case. Because my nightmare would be someone hires me, maybe they have an offer on the table with their current attorney, they're not happy with it, they don't want to take it, they hire me and I don't get a better offer. I mean, that sucks, right? What I'm trying to figure out is, has everything been done to get a better offer in the case? I don't mean that everyone should plead guilty or plead no contest. It could be a dismissal. It could be classes in exchange for a dismissal. But what I want to figure out is, are there more things that I can do that haven't already been done? Hiring me to repeat the same exact things that have already been done might not really help. So anyway, let's get into those 5 things that I asked them about. Now, the first thing is, and this applies to people who have not had court yet. So, believe it or not, I get a lot of people who are calling me who haven't had court yet, and they're trying to figure out, you know, I don't know if I don't have the best feeling about this attorney. Should I keep going with this person, or should I switch now before it's too late? The thing that I ask them is, did your attorney submit a do not file packet to the prosecutor's office? Because basically how it works is that after you are arrested, you bond out, you get a court date, the DA still has to look at your case and figure out, are they going to file more serious charges, less serious charges, go along with what you were arrested for, or drop the whole thing altogether. And it's really important, especially for cases like first-time domestic violence, even if it's a felony, to have an attorney contact the DA before, because otherwise, when they're making that decision, all that they're looking at is the police report. And if you were arrested, whatever is in the police report is not going to be good for you. They're not going to know all the good things about you. They're not going to have, maybe a positive statement about you from the alleged victim. They are not going to have character letters. They're not going to know about your job or your dreams for the future. And those things actually do make a big difference. Or how about your side of the story? Sometimes that doesn't make it into the police report. So if it's before court and the attorney is not doing that, I usually suggest that they ask the attorney about it and see if the attorney is planning to do it. And if not, or if it's really close to court, then I do think that they should cut their losses and move on. Number 2, if the case has been filed in court, does the client have a copy of discovery, the police report? Now, we can't always give clients everything. For example, sometimes we can't get them body-worn footage that includes a statement from the alleged victim. But what they should have, in almost every single case, there are some gang cases where there's a protective order and you can't do it, but they should have a copy of the police report. Now, as attorneys, we do have to redact the police report, meaning we have to cross out personal information of the victim, their full name, contact information, that kind of stuff. So it takes time, and not everyone likes to do it. I know the public defender, they're just so busy that for them to do that for every single person, they may just not have the resources for it. But you need a copy. I mean, you really do. Whether they have the resources or not, they do need to make time, and if you're the squeaky wheel, you'll probably eventually get a copy. But you do need to get a copy of that discovery, because otherwise you don't even know what you're being accused of. And maybe you have information that could be really helpful in your defense. So this is something where if somebody's coming to me thinking about hiring me and firing their current attorney, I ask them about this. And this is something too where if you just had court the day before, maybe they haven't had time to scan it in, redact it, etc. But I usually tell them, we'll ask your attorney if you can get a copy of the redacted discovery. If they say no, that's pretty telling. Number 3, has there been an offer in the case? Sometimes I'll talk to people who have been to court 4 times, for example, and there's no offer in the case at all. The prosecutor hasn't offered anything. The defense hasn't asked for anything, or the defense hasn't made an offer to them. If you don't have an offer, then your attorney should have explained to you why there's no offer or why they don't want to negotiate yet. Because eventually what will happen is the judge will get tired of the case. The judges have pressure, because the court system's so busy, to move cases along. So what you don't want to have happen is you get an offer at the last minute, or the prosecutor makes an offer right before the case will be set for the trial stage of the case or something, and you don't have time to go back and forth and negotiate, or have your attorney go back and forth and negotiate with the DA. So I encourage anyone who doesn't have an offer after a few court dates, if you don't already know why, if your attorney hasn't told you, then ask. And number 4, on that same note, if the case keeps getting pushed out, if you keep getting more court dates and it seems like not a whole lot is happening, do you know why? Has your attorney explained to you why? Now, there are many legitimate reasons for the case being extended out. I have multiple cases right now where we got the initial police report. My client's out of custody, but we got the initial police report and it said in there, there's video of some kind, surveillance, body-worn video, or something else like that. Or there's a warrant, but it's sealed, and so we have to file a motion to unseal it. So we have to set up court dates in order to make sure it's basically a check-in for the prosecution in front of the judge to see if they gave us what we've been asking for. Another legitimate reason would be maybe you're going to request an expert, or maybe your attorney, you hired them after you'd already been to court for your case, and they're putting together a mitigation packet. Maybe they've sent you to classes and they want to show the DA that you have, so many classes under your belt, 10 classes, before they submit a mitigation packet and ask for an offer. So they're kind of just buying you time to get those done because they're normally once a week. And maybe they're waiting for you to give character letters. Things like that are legitimate reasons for extending out the case. And at these court dates, usually there isn't a whole lot that is going to happen. It's just a check-in because otherwise, frankly, the court system will forget about your case, which may be what you want, but it's not what the court system wants. So it's sort of set up like, hey, is this case progressing along? And for the attorneys to report to the judge, hey, here's what's going on, or complaining to the judge that the other side still hasn't given them something that they had requested. Number 5, if there has been an offer, but it is not something that the potential client wants to take, then has the attorney contacted the DA's supervisor or asked the judge for an offer? In some counties like Los Angeles County, defense attorneys routinely will set up meetings with DA supervisors who have more authority to give better offers for cases. Usually, we can get better offers there. Not 100% of the time, but usually we can. So if a client is not happy with their offer, or we think this offer should be better, then we go to the DA supervisor, pitch the case to the DA supervisor, and usually we'll get something better. Now, in some counties, the DA supervisors are not quite as willing to meet with defense attorneys. Orange County, you can do it sometimes, but not always. It's not as routine as in LA County. But what is more routine in Orange County, and what attorneys can do in all counties, is ask the judge for an offer. And oftentimes this means going into chambers with the judge, like the judge's office, sitting down and talking about the case. And the defense attorney explaining why whatever the prosecutor is offering will not work, and explaining to the judge what they're looking for. Now, one caveat here is that if the judge makes an offer, then the defendant has to plead guilty or no contest to everything, unless there's something called judicial diversion, where you can take classes or some kind of program in exchange for a dismissal. Only certain cases qualify for that. So for certain cases where, for example, maybe one of the charges involves some sort of sex offense, and that means that you would have to register as a sex offender, and you're like, there's no way I want to register as a sex offender. Well, then obviously asking the judge for an offer is not going to work, because you would have to plead no contest to every single charge, including that one. So if your charges carry with them mandatory minimums, then this may not be a good idea. Look, if you are wondering if your criminal defense attorney is doing their job and you feel like they are not for some reason, then hey, go through this list, talk to your attorney and ask them about these things and see what their response is. If they're dismissive, then I think you have a problem and you should probably try to look for a different attorney. But give them a chance to explain, because many times in the criminal justice system, it's not immediately obvious what's going on. And the attorney may have explained to you, but there's so much going on that you don't understand and you're trying to figure out at court that sometimes some of it can go over your head. I hope you found this video helpful. If you do have a criminal case in California, feel free to give me a call. You can book a consultation with my office down below, or you can find my number there. Oh, and if you did find it helpful, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell.